Hi, welcome back or welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name is Laura. Hi, hello, welcome. Today we are going to do my first update in my Pan That palette. Now, if you have not seen my intro to my Pan That palette series, I'm going to have it tagged in the cards up above as well as linked down in the description box below if you haven't seen it and you want to catch up before we dive into this video. Now, I don't think I mentioned it in my first intro, but this project was started by, I believe, Amber F. I'm currently panning the Subculture palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I'm going to have a picture, I'm actually just going to have the picture go up right now of what the palette looked like when we brought it in. I am doing these every 3 months. We're going to be updating my Pan That palette. It's been really enlightening. Every couple weeks I'll take a look at my palette and I'll compare it to the picture of where we started this palette off with. To start, I'm gonna have the palette as it was in October when we started panning this, and then I'm gonna on the bottom have what we are looking like now for this palette. So you can see some immediate and hopefully immediate changes with this palette compared to how it was the first time. So I'm going to just start with the elephant in the room, which was the green shadow that was right here. I made the executive decision a couple weeks ago. I want to just pan Subculture. I don't want to pan the shades that I added into Subculture, which was a Bare Minerals shade in the shade Icon. I just crushed it all up and I have it still, but I did remove it from this palette because I do want to just be panning this palette in its entirety. So moving on, we have a couple different changes. So the first shade right here, this is Dawn. Dawn here is just a matte tan kind of shade. It's like a light tan kind of shade. I've used it almost every single day as a transition shade. Now, it does not work the best when I have a look like this on. So on days where I do like a cooler toned look, I don't typically reach for Dawn to add in my transition. It tends to make things muddied out if I add like a transition-y blue into the crease after I have put this down. But Dawn I have used 42 times since October. That is a lot of times. Then we moved to Destiny, which I don't think much has changed in Destiny. I only reached for it 5 times. I'm just not gravitated for those murky greens at the time or right now. Basically, there's shades that visibly look so much different, and you can tell that those are the shades that I've gravitated towards. So Destiny I've only used 5 times, so I don't think that there's going to be any discernible wear and tear in that shade quite yet. Adorn, on the other hand, I really contemplated repressing Adorn for this update, but I kind of wanted to just show you how Adorn is looking like right now, and I'm going to be repressing this and just hopefully plowing through the rest of Adorn within the next 3 months. So I'm going to plow through and I'm going to finish Adorn in the next month. I used Adorn 20 times. I'm really happy with that. I did a lot of like this bronzy shade with All Star and then a red that's in my Fantasy Self palette with Haley. I'm going to tag that video in the cards up above and in the description box. But I did a lot of looks using those kind of shades, pairing a lot of these bronzes with either golds or with red and burgundy shades. So I really have been enjoying and getting a lot of use out of that. Then the next shade we have a lot of use in is All Star here. Now I was really trying to clear out that bottom corner. I'm going to show you. I was really trying to clear out this bottom corner, and I'm so close. I'm so unbelievably close to finishing up that bottom corner, but we're not quite there yet. Now I have quite a lot of product up here at the top of the shade, but I have very little product in that bottom corner. So I am going to be trying to focus my brush and just finish this bottom corner and then migrate to this bottom corner, and hopefully we can get some more use and clear that section of the pan out. I used All Star 19 times this month, and a lot of those times I did pair it with Adorn. They went hand in hand for a lot of looks. Then the next shade we have is Mercury. That is this guy here. It's just a like taupey gray. I only use that one 5 times. I can use that one in my brows. It's actually surprising because I typically use another shade in this palette in my brows, and we'll get to that in a bit. But I can use Mercury in my brows if I want just a slightly softer brow look. Now, I do have like black hair, black eyebrows, so I do often tend to go towards a darker brow personally. Especially on the tails of my brows, I really enjoy how that looks. So Mercury I only used 5 times, and I foresee hopefully picking up that usage this coming month, but I haven't really decided if I'm going to be ramping up the usage on it. Access is a shade that surprised me. Not necessarily in the amount of uses. I only used Access 8 times, but if you remember from my intro video, I was not concerned, or I didn't really care about finishing these 2 deeper shades. I don't find that they perform the best, and I wasn't really interested in putting my efforts into Access, Rowdy, and Untamed. However, I feel like you can see some visible changes in Access. I used it 8 times, but I think that dip has grown substantially, and I find that because of my Pan Those eyeshadows, and because I've been panning a lot of blues in my BH Cosmetics palettes, or just the one palette, I've been reaching for Access to deepen out the looks. So there's been some significant wear and tear in Access, and I'm pretty proud that it's grown as much as it has, especially for being a shade that I'm not interested in finishing up. Roxy here, I used 22 times, and I'm hoping you can see it did grow. The pan did grow in this one. I tried something that Haley suggested, and I don't know if I saw it in Haley's video or if I saw it on Steph Lyon's video, again, tagging her and linking her. But I know that they both have used Roxy as blushes, and I've been using that a lot lately, and I really liked how that's looked. So it's very pigmented, so you don't need a whole lot of it, but I have dipped into it about 3 times for blushes, very, very lightly. I probably use more as an eyeshadow than I do as a blush, but it does make a really lovely cheek color. Oh, did I say I used Roxy 22 times? Now, Fudge, we didn't use Fudge a whole lot. I have quite a few, or I had a couple browns in my Pan Those eyeshadows last month, so I really didn't put any of my efforts on Fudge for the most part, especially since I was opting for some of these more cranberry looks rather than these kind of like more neutral brown looks. So I can foresee using Fudge in like the spring and summer a whole lot more than I am right now, but I'll try to reach for it at least a couple times. So New Wave here, I used 9 times in the past month. I don't think that there's a huge difference in the pan size in this, but there might be a slight difference in the pan size. Now, I did actually do the same thing. I did try to use New Wave as a blush. I actually did like it. I'm not wearing any of the shades as a blush today. I mean, any of these 2 shades as a blush today, but I did like when I had a little bit of New Wave lightly in the crease, and then pairing that with like a cheek with New Wave, it just helped kind of seamlessly tie the whole look together, and I thought that was a really effortless way to get more use out of New Wave. Now, Untamed looks a whole lot different. There was actually a casualty with Untamed. I was trying to fiddle around and see if I could take any of the eyeshadows out of this using a magnet, and I don't know what happened. Untamed can come out with a magnet, but it came out in such a weird way that the magnet shattered the eyeshadow. I did not use Untamed at all, so all of this damage done to it is specifically just my error, my mistake. I'm not interested in Untamed at all. I think that shade is the worst shade in this palette. I know other people might beg to differ, but I don't think it performs that well. Edge here, I used 4 times in the past 3 months, and I don't think that there's any change. At least it doesn't look like there's any change in the pan shape or size. It might have grown by a fraction, but it's really nothing discernible. Now, Rowdy is one of the pans that actually surprised me the most with the amount of usage and growth that the pan has. Now, Rowdy is the shade that I use in my brows almost every single day. It is actually the second most used shade in this palette at this time. Dawn, remember I used that 42 times? I used Rowdy 40 times. That is a whopping difference for a shade that I said that I have no interest in panning. Like, I am actually blown away with the amount of usage that I've gotten in that shade, and I'm so shocked with how that pan has grown. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of pan in this palette. I did not weigh this palette in its entirety when we started this project, and I don't know why, because I'm such a numbers person, but I did weigh it today right before filming this video, and we weigh 190.6 as the palette stands right now. So I will continue to weigh it as we do these updates, but I'm a little annoyed that I didn't weigh this before the first intro, you know? So I'm pretty excited about the usage that I've made in this palette, and I'm pretty excited to see where the next 3 months takes us. I definitely foresee us finishing up Adorn. I'm hoping to finish up Dawn. Like, those two are the shades that I really want gone, and then we'll have 10 shades left in this palette. Now, I don't have any idea what shade I want to focus on after those. It really is contingent on my pan those eyeshadows based on what I'm panning in that rotation with what I want to pull for. But I do want to make a concerted effort to try to at least clear this bottom portion of All Star up. It's definitely a shade that I like to pair with this guy here, and it's a shade that I like to pair with a shade that's in my Fantasy Self palette. So I do foresee these two, at least this one growing, this one disappearing, this disappearing. So if you have any suggestions on what shades you would like to see growth and focus in, please let me know, because I really appreciate any suggestions or what you guys think the pan could grow the quickest. And even eye looks. If you are watching this video after my pan those eyeshadows, or if you're going to watch this and then watch my pan those eyeshadows, come back or leave a comment on this or that video. Let me know pairings that you would pair with this, or just color combinations in general. I definitely would love to try doing those looks. I didn't take pictures of any of the looks that I wore using this, because you would see so many repeats in all of my videos with my pan those eyeshadows with this, with my Fantasy Self palette, just because I do try to incorporate at least one shade from this palette in every single eye look that I do. Yeah, that is all that I have for this video today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys are staying healthy, sane, and safe, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye!